All Brainrots by Rarity. Sorted by income per second, from lowest to highest. Missing economy data goes last in each rarity. Latest update, January 31st, 2026. Total Brainrots, 339. Common rarity, 11 Brainrots. Nuabini Pizzanini. Income, 1 per second. Lira Lilarila. Income, 3 per second. Tim Cheese. Income, 5 per second. Plura Plura. Income, 7 per second. Talpa Di Ferro. Income, 9 per second. Stanina Bombardino. Income, 10 per second. Nuabini Santanini. Income, 11 per second. Racuni Jandalini. Income, 12 per second. Pippi Kiwi. Income, 13 per second. Tartaragno. Income, 13 per second. Pippi Corny. Income, 14 per second. Rare Rarity. 11 Brainrots. Trippy Troppy. Income, 15 per second. Gangster Foot Era. Income, 30 per second. Bandito Babrito. Income, 35 per second. Bonica Mbalabu. Income, 40 per second. Cacto Hippopotamo. Income, 50 per second. Ta 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 Sahar. Income, 55 per second. Cupcake Koala. Income, 60 per second. Trick Track Baraboo. Income, 65 per second. Frogo Elfo. Income, 67 per second. Pippi Avocado. Income, 70 per second. Piniolato Fretterino. Income, 75 per second. Epic Rarity, 20 Brainrots. Cappuccino Assassino. Income, 75 per second. Bandito Axelito. Income, 90 per second. The RRBR Patapim. Income, 100 per second. Avocadini Antilopini. Income, 115 per second. Trilimero Trilacina. Income, 125 per second. Bambini Crostini. Income, 130 per second. Malium Amarillo. Income, 140 per second. Bananita Dolphinita. Income, 150 per second. Paracello Limoncello. Income, 160 per second. Brie Bicus Dicus Bomicus. Income, 175 per second. Avocadini Guffo. Income, 225 per second. TTT Sauter. Income, 225 per second. Mangalini Parasini. Income, 235 per second. Fragato Parado. Income, 240 per second. Salamino Pinguino. Income, 250 per second. Doi Doi Do. Income, 260 per second. Penguin Tree. Income, 270 per second. Wombo Rollo. Income, 275 per second. Penguino Cocasino. Income, 300 per second. Mumia Rapido. Income, 325 per second. Legendary Rarity, 24 Brainrots. Burbaloni Lililai. Income, 200 per second. Chimpanzini Bananini. Income, 300 per second. Tirilikalika Tirilakalaco. Income, 450 per second. Ballerina Cappuccino. Income, 500 per second. Chef Crabracadabra. Income, 600 per second. Lionel Cactusy Line. Income, 650 per second. Lorbo Fredidrillo. Income, 750 per second. Quivioli Emiliani. Income, 900 per second. Bliberini Octopusini. Income, 1000 per second. Clickerino Crabo. Income, 1000 per second. Caramello Filtrello. Income, 1000 per second. Pippi Potato. Income, 1,100 per second. Strawberry Flamingelli. Income, 1,100 per second. Cocasini Mama. Income, 1,200 per second. Pandacini Bananini. Income, 1,200 per second. Quackula. Income, 1,200 per second. Pai Pai Watermelon. Income, 1,300 per second. Signore Carapace. Income, 1,300 per second. Sigma Boy. Income, 1,3200 per second. Choco Bunny. Income, 1,4000 per second. Puffball. Income, 1,5000 per second. Sigma Girl. Income, 1,8000 per second. Silo Regalo. Income, 1,8000 per second. Ulo de Fuego. Income, 1,8000 per second. Mythic Rarity, 34 Brainrots. Frigo Camelo. Income, 1,4000 per second. Orangutini Ananasi. Income, 1,7000 per second. Rhino Tostarino. Income 2.1 thousand per second. Bombardiro Crocodilo. Income 2.5 thousand per second. Rudo Geludo. Income 3,000 per second. Spioniro Gulubiro. Income 3.5 thousand per second. Bombombini Gusini. Income 5,000 per second. Zebra Zubra Zyberlina. Income 6,000 per second. Avocadorilla. Income 7,000 per second. Tigrolini Watermelini. Income 7.5 thousand per second. Cavallo Virtuoso. Income 7.5 thousand per second. Gorillo Subwoofero. Income 7.7 thousand per second. Gorillo Watermelon Drillo. Income 8,000 per second. Stoppo Luminino. Income 8,000 per second. Tob Toby Toby. Income 8.5 thousand per second. Laralarularul. Income 8.7 thousand per second. Ganganzelli Trulala. Income 9,000 per second. Tay Saga. Income 9.5 thousand per second. Rhino Helicopterino. Income 11,000 per second. Magi Ribatini. Income 11.5 thousand per second. Traco Ducaculu della Pelladustas. Income 12,000 per second. Jingle Jingle Saga. Income 12.2 thousand per second. Los Nobines. Income 12.5 thousand per second. Cacarito Melanito. Income 13,000 per second. Spongini Quackini. Income 13,000 per second. Carlu. Income 13.5 thousand per second. Elephanto Frigo. Income 14,000 per second. Caratini Brainite. Income 15,000 per second. Citroxine Clutching. Income 15.5 thousand per second. Toiletto Focacino. Income 16,000 per second. Jacko Spaventosa. Income 16.2 thousand per second. Bananito Bandito. Income 16.5 thousand per second. Tree Soccer. Income 17,000 per second. Dizzy Soda. Income 17.2 thousand per second. Brainrot God Rarity. 77 Brainrots. Pocafanto Elephanto. Income 17.5 thousand per second. Antonio. Income 18.5 thousand per second. Giraffa Celester. Income 20,000 per second. Gatatino Nyanino. Income 35,000 per second. Chiwanini Takanini. Income 45,000 per second. Mateo. Income 50,000 per second. Tralalero Tralala. Income 50,000 per second. Los Crocodilitos. Income 55,000 per second. Tiger Liger Fertani. Income 60,000 per second. Money Man. Income 65,000 per second. Espresso Signora. Income 70,000 per second. Odin Din Dun. Income 75,000 per second. Statutino Libertino. Income 75,000 per second. Tipi Topi Taco. Income 75,000 per second. Unclito Samito. Income 75,000 per second. Alessio. Income 85,000 per second. Orcalero Orcala. Income 100,000 per second. Tralalita Tralala. Income 100,000 per second. Tacano Banana. Income 100,000 per second. Extinct Ballerina. Income 125,000 per second. Vampira Cappuccina. Income 125,000 per second. Trinistruzzo Turbo 3000. Income 150,000 per second. Jacko Jack. Income 150,000 per second. Urubini Flaming Weenie. Income 150,000 per second. Cappy Taco. Income 155,000 per second. Los Joaninis. Income 160,000 per second. Gatito Takoto. Income 165,000 per second. Trippy Troppy Trappa Triple. Income 175,000 per second. Los Cappuccinos. Income 185,000 per second. Ballerino Lolo. Income 200,000 per second. Bulbito Bandito Tractorito. Income 205,000 per second. Los Tum Sidos. Income 210,000 per second. Ballerina Peppermintina. Income 215,000 per second. Pacromat Moment. Income 215,000 per second. Los Bombinitos. Income 220,000 per second. The RRES Tape Patterson. Income 225,000 per second. Pachoni Mac China. Income, 225,000 per second. Pacromat Matina. Income, 225,000 per second. Bombardini Tortini. Income, 225,000 per second. Tractoro Dinosauro. Income, 230,000 per second. Los Orcalitos. Income, 235,000 per second. Crabo Limoneta. Income, 235,000 per second. Cacasito Satellito. Income, 240,000 per second. Orcalita Orcala. Income, 240,000 per second. Aquanaut. Income, 245,000 per second. Corn Sauer. Income, 250,000 per second. Mummy and Balabu. Income, 250,000 per second. Snailenzo. Income, 250,000 per second. Squalinana. Income, 250,000 per second. Tartaruga Cisterna. Income, 250,000 per second. Doug. Income, 255,000 per second. Ginger Globo. Income, 258,000 per second. Yeti Claus. Income, 258,000 per second. Ranchiello Spiritel. Income, 260,000 per second. Los TV Tacos. Income, 260,000 per second. Two Tiny Shrimp Piney. Income, 260,000 per second. Brio Ninja. Income, 265,000 per second. Buho de Noella. Income, 268,000 per second. Boba Panda. Income, 270,000 per second. Pichinetta Machina. Income, 270,000 per second. Bamboo Saw. Income, 275,000 per second. Los Catitos. Income, 275,000 per second. Mastodontico Telepidon. Income, 275,000 per second. Prismasmic. Income, 278,000 per second. Amply Babel. Income, 280,000 per second. Noah La Polizia. Income, 280,000 per second. Cappuccino Clamino. Income, 285,000 per second. Brazilini Barabini. Income, 285,000 per second. Bellula Beluga. Income, 290,000 per second. Krupuk Pajai. Income, 290,000 per second. Skull. Income, 290,000 per second. Coco Assassino. Income, 291,000 per second. Tentacolo Technico. Income, 293,000 per second. Ginger Cisterna. Income, 294,000 per second. Pandanini Firstini. Income, 294,000 per second. Dolphini Jetskini. Income, 295,000 per second. Pop Sawher. Income, 295,000 per second. Secret Rarity. 159 Brainrots. La Vaca Saturno Saturnino. Income, 300,000 per second. Visant Jupiter. Income, 300,000 per second. Kirker. Income, 300,000 per second. Los Mateos. Income, 300,000 per second. Trenestruzzo Turbo 4,000. Income, 310,000 per second. Jackarilla. Income, 315,000 per second. Chimpanzini Spiderini. Income, 325,000 per second. Salmoni Spitterini. Income, 325,000 per second. Torchigini Dragonfertini. Income, 350,000 per second. Dull. Income, 375,000 per second. Black Hole Goat. Income, 400,000 per second. Chichechi. Income, 400,000 per second. Agarini La Polini. Income, 425,000 per second. Los Spitterinis. Income, 425,000 per second. Extinct Trallalero. Income, 450,000 per second. Fragala La. Income, 450,000 per second. La Cucaracha. Income, 475,000 per second. Los Tortus. Income, 500,000 per second. Zombie Tralala. Income, 500,000 per second. Vulturino Skeletono. Income, 500,000 per second. Los Tralaritos. Income, 500,000 per second. Botito Ortito. Income, 525,000 per second. Guerrero Digitail. Income, 550,000 per second. Yes, my examine. Income, 575,000 per second. Law Karkar combination. Income 600,000 per second. La Vaca Priest present. Income 600,000 per second. Reindeer Tralala. Income 600,000 per second. Extinct Mateo. Income 625,000 per second. Lost Tralaritas. Income 650,000 per second. Rocco Disco. Income 650,000 per second. Hopkini Spitarini. Income 650,000 per second. Frankintio. Income 700,000 per second. Job Soccer. Income 700,000 per second. Los Trios. Income 700,000 per second. Carker Soccer. Income 725,000 per second. Los Viquitas Saturnitas. Income 750,000 per second. Los Carcaritos. Income 750,000 per second. Santio. Income 800,000 per second. La Vaca Jaco Linterino. Income 850,000 per second. Triplito Tralalaritos. Income 875,000 per second. Triccolino. Income 900,000 per second. Goat. Income 950,000 per second. Give Tiny Spitarini. Income 1,000,000 per second. 25. Income 1 million per second. Grapus Medusai. Income 1 million per second. Perito Burrito. Income 1 million per second. 1x1x1x1. Income 1.11 million per second. Los Cucarachas. Income 1.25 million per second. Please my present. Income 1.3 million per second. Quadramat and Pacromatmamet. Income 1.4 million per second. Bunnyman. Income 1.5 million per second. Los Jobcitos. Income 1.5 million per second. Do my hotspot. Income 1.5 million per second. Tung Sar. Income 1.5 million per second. No my examine. Income 1.7 million per second. List Sar. Income 1.8 million per second. Lost Sar combination. Income 2 million per second. Telemorph. Income 2 million per second. Tutuda Sar. Income 2.2 million per second. Pod Hotspot. Income 2.5 million per second. Perilicoida Bicyclatira. Income 2.5 million per second. Santa Hotspot. Income 2.6 million per second. Origini Boom. Income 2.7 million per second. Naughty. Income 3 million per second. Pot Pumpkin. Income 3 million per second. Quesadilla Crocodila. Income 3 million per second. Bunnitos Finito. Income 3 million per second. Ho Soccer. Income 3.2 million per second. Migatito. Income 3.2 million per second. Renito Marzito. Income 3.5 million per second. Chiclatira Bicyclatira. Income 3.5 million per second. Quesadillo Vampiro. Income 3.5 million per second. Burrito Bandito. Income 4 million per second. Chiclatirina Bicyclatirina. Income 4 million per second. Chill Puppy. Income 4 million per second. Los Quesadillas. Income 4.5 million per second. Arcadipus. Income 5 million per second. Noah My Candy. Income 5 million per second. Los New My Hotspot Seals. Income 5.5 million per second. Noah My Present. Income 6 million per second. Ring Bus. Income 6 million per second. Los Migatitos. Income 6.5 million per second. Yes 666. Income 6.67 million per second. Los Chicletiras. Income 7 million per second. Donkey Turbo Express. Income 7.5 million per second. 67. Income 7.5 million per second. Los Burritos. Income 8.5 million per second. La Grande Combination. Income 10 million per second. Los 25. Income 10 million per second. Mariachi Corazoni. Income 12.5 million per second. Swag Soda. Income 13 million per second. Chimnino. Income 14 million per second. Chiclatira Noeltera. Income 15 million per second. Los Combinaciones. Income 15 million per second. Nuclearo Dinosauro. Income 15 million per second. Ticino Clonino. Income 15.5 million per second. Taquerita Bicicleta. Income 16.5 million per second. Spitty Hammy. Income, 17 million per second. Lost Sis. Income, 17.5 million per second. Los Planitos. Income, 18.5 million per second. Los Hotspot CEOs. Income, 20 million per second. Los Jolly Combinations. Income, 20 million per second. Los Spooky Combinations. Income, 20 million per second. Money Puggy. Income, 21 million per second. Los Mobiles. Income, 22 million per second. Cellularcini Viciacini. Income, 22.5 million per second. Los 67. Income, 22.5 million per second. Los Candies. Income, 23 million per second. La Extinct Grande. Income, 23.5 million per second. Bakuru and Eguru. Income, 24 million per second. Los Brothers. Income, 24 million per second. La Spooky Grande. Income, 24.5 million per second. Chillin' Chili. Income, 25 million per second. Chipso and Queso. Income, 25 million per second. Money Rainbow. Income, 25 million per second. Maya Tatira Chiclatira. Income, 26 million per second. Tough Toucan. Income, 26 million per second. Goblino Uniciclino. Income, 27.5 million per second. Trallalita. Income, 27.5 million per second. Isoxicola. Income, 30 million per second. Los Puggies. Income, 30 million per second. W or L. Income, 30 million per second. La Jolly Grande. Income, 30 million per second. Los Primos. Income, 31 million per second. Evilidin. Income, 31.5 million per second. Los Taquerias. Income, 32 million per second. Tang Skeleton. Income, 33.5 million per second. Kedupak. Income, 35 million per second. La Taco Combination. Income, 35 million per second. Tic Tac Sahar. Income, 37.5 million per second. Orcaladin. Income, 40 million per second. Swaggy Brothers. Income, 40 million per second. Ketcharu and Mustaru. Income, 42.5 million per second. Jolly Sar. Income, 45 million per second. Lavadorito Spinito. Income, 45 million per second. Garama and Madunda. Income, 50 million per second. Spaghetti Toaletti. Income, 60 million per second. Festive 67. Income, 67 million per second. Los Spaghettis. Income, 17 million per second. Ginger Jarrett. Income, 75 million per second. La Ginger Sicola. Income, 75 million per second. Spooky and Pumpkin. Income, 80 million per second. Los Sicolas. Income, 85 million per second. Programa and Chocolate. Income, 100 million per second. La Casa Boo. Income, 100 million per second. La Secret Combination. Income, 125 million per second. Rainido Slater. Income, 140 million per second. Kedupak Brothers. Income, 145 million per second. Berguro and Friero. Income, 150 million per second. Cookie and Milky. Income, 155 million per second. Capitano Moby. Income, 160 million per second. Popkuru and Fizuru. Income, 170 million per second. Cerberus. Income, 175 million per second. La Supreme Combination. Income, 200 million per second. Dragon Cannelloni. Income, 250 million per second. Dragon Gingerani. Income, 300 million per second. Headless Horseman. Income, 325 million per second. Hydra Dragon Cannelloni. Income, 350 million per second. Coffin Tung Sar. Income, unknown per second. OG Rarity. 3 Brainrots. Skibbity Toilet. Income, 400 million per second. Meow. Income, 500 million per second. Strawberry Elephant. Income, 750 million per second.